A man is truly free when he needs nothing, but wants everything. What this quote basically means is that once we find our true nature, we realize our true nature is actually creative, pure creativity. It's literally just the essence of what you could say creativity is. And so as a being within that creation on that level, we realize we are creating so that we experience it. So it's like the underlying field that we are of pure creative potential creates and experiences at the same time. And this body is the vehicle by which we experience what we create. So it's a complete synchronized creation and experience like dichotomy. So everything is both created and experienced at the same time. And on an individual level, what we're actually learning is how to create. And we typically call this manifestation. We can call it reality creation. We can call it whatever you'd like. It doesn't make a difference. The point is that the goal is celebration. How free can we get? How much freedom are we able to taste and experience? Now, this to some people might seem like an egoic question, but it's absolutely not. If you think that's egoic, then just do not watch this video. Do not watch my channel if you think that's egoic. On this level, we're on the level of absolute freedom, which means how free can freedom get? What else is there to enjoy? What else is there to experience? What can we build? What can we create? Most people are so caught up in just surviving that is not even a possibility to them. Hey guys. Yeah. That is not even in their bandwidth. They're so struggling to find happiness at the expense of everything else in their life that what I'm saying right now, in one ear, out the other. But for the people who hear me, for the people who can actually understand from the place from which I'm speaking, we're about to have a lot of fun. And what I want to share in this video is the bridge between what we could say is the classic non-dual understanding and how we reconcile that with living in the world. And typically what we find is that there are layers of ourselves that prevent us from actually wanting or feeling. It's something that we always feel guilty for wanting something in the world. Or it's kind of like having a universal credit card that can get you anything you want. And then but we're ashamed to use it. We feel hesitant and reluctant to use it because, I don't know, it's a lot to handle, right? So we just spend it on faggots and peas and beans and toast. You know what I mean? It's like we're not fully living it because there's still shame left there. So a lot of people, a lot of non-dual teachers, maybe it's just not in their character. That's totally reasonable. Sometimes it's not in your character to want to build and create. You might be happy continuing to live the same life that you lived before you recognized your true nature. But it's the case with most people. It's not that we wake up to our true nature and then all of a sudden we stop want to doing random things we never wanted to do before. It's actually we start doing the things we inhibited ourselves from doing before. We start doing and living the things that previously we denied from ourselves. For me, that was music, travel, singing in public, acting. I'm not even going to list it. There was a lot of stuff. And I'm also building a business and entrepreneurship. And so these things started to become more obvious to me. My passion started to bleed through. Now, at first, I felt a bit reluctant. I felt a bit hesitant to do that. Oh, but should I really be doing this? Like, of course I should be doing whatever I want. If I'm the source of reality, what's stopping me? What the hell? So people get confused. They think that they should feel ashamed for spending the universal credit card. It's there for a reason. Sugar Daddy didn't give it to us to start buying like the same stuff that we bought before. Sugar Daddy wants us to buy the yacht. The mansion, metaphorically speaking. So like I've said before, we don't have to necessarily want extravagant things. The point really is, what is it that we do actually want? A lot of the times it's complex to get there. In other words, some people want a simple thing in life. But the reality is getting to a very simple life where nothing else, you don't have to kind of do anything else other than that thing, is complicated. It's complex to get there. And this is what reality creation is about. How do we minus the complexities or dissolve the complexities to make the path as simple as possible? And this is the kind of stuff we learn with creative abundance. So on this path, we are typically learning to rest in the unknown. Most people don't want to rest in the unknown. They want to rest in certainty. So, for instance, when a situation arises where they could change their life, they go to the same place that they've been before. They resort to. That could be the same job, the same relationship. That could be the same friends, the same friendship group. It's almost as though there's an opportunity for something new, and we deny ourselves that opportunity because we want to go back to the known. We want to go back to something safe. So in other words, it all boils down to the capacity that we have to actually thrive in not knowing. Not knowing is a place of pure curiosity, a place of wonder, a place where me not knowing what comes next is safe and not scary. Everybody, no matter what, the baseline is that it is scary. So we keep resorting to the known. We basically need to learn to last long enough in the uncertainty that the new opportunity arises. Now, what opportunity is that? Well, the groundwork for that ultimately is that we need to be tapped in to our, you could say, like our core DNA. Our core DNA is basically the things that us as an individual body mind are most capable at doing. And a lot of people are disconnected from that. So everybody has this, literally everyone. But if you ask some people I've spoke to in the past, they'll tell me, Saja, I don't even know what that is. This is due to a long time of denying what you want. If you do not know at all, you have no passion, no hobbies, no secret interests, nothing that, stands out, it's because you've spent a long time denying and denying and denying everything that is true to you. And or you have a very low level of life force energy. In other words, there's something completely stuck energetically, like a really, really, it could be like a huge trauma that has created an energetic block that you're holding on to and not releasing. So that would be the only reason that you don't know. On this type of the path, that thing that we are connecting to is always going to be the funnest thing we can think of doing. So if anyone's watching this right now and something comes to you, when I talk about the funnest thing you can think of doing, you'll know if you have suppressed yourself for too long. Nothing comes to mind when I talk about the funnest thing you can think of doing. If nothing comes to mind when you think of fun, it means you are not currently remembering what it is like to express freedom. Process what that means. Fun is an expression of freedom. If you have a long line of history of suppressing your expression of freedom and play, you won't have any recollection of what fun will be. So once you have the fun, you have to keep prioritizing the funnest thing you can think of doing each day. So that literally means instead of prioritizing revolving your life around your job, you need to position your life so that your job is primarily there so that you can then have fun, to do the fun thing. Most people do the job as the center energetically, and then they sometimes might do the fun thing if they have enough time or they're not too tired. So you need to position your life in a way that angles fun as the center of your orbit, and everything else then revolves around that. Even if you spend more time doing the job, it doesn't make a difference. Energetically, place the thing you find most fun in the center of your orbit. Literally imagine an orbit and put it in there. And then you have to then drive your energy to letting everything else be in aid of that thing. Even if 90% of your day isn't doing that thing and 10% of it is, as long as that 90% is in aid of that solid 10%, you will be moving in the right track. If you want to learn more and you want to learn more on this video, I don't want to leave this video too long, but I'm going to start making more content on this. I don't know if you can hear me because it's quite loud, but I want to leave this as a taste. I want to introduce an experiment to you.
I don't know.
To just do these two things. These two things that I've just shared with you sound small. They sound like, so what? Maybe to some they do, maybe to some they don't. But if it does, just trust me. If you only did those two simple things, They're not very simple when you put them into practice. But if you only did those two things, I can assure you magic will take place. Things that you did not think were possible will start becoming possible. It is insane how it works, but just trust me on that. Take an experiment for the next, I would say 60 days. 30 days are going to be you practicing, even attempting to do it. Then there's probably going to be 30 days of you actually doing it. So 60 days, commit to that process and let me know how that process works out within the next 60 days. I have a free community, links in the description. I can give you any support you'd like for free. Have an amazing day. Take care.